Hi everyone, it's Klaus Lemke with Lean Project. Today I'm going to talk about what happens when we make batches smaller in construction. Making batches smaller, even to the point of having one-piece flow, is something that happens a lot in manufacturing. And in construction, we've been a little bit slower to adopt it because I think people think it's less applicable and a little bit harder to do. The way I like to explain it is that small batches always move faster than big batches. There might be work to do to make a batch smaller in construction, but it's almost always worth it. With some limitations. So let me show you how I explain this to clients when they ask about small batches. I've got this little sketch that kind of demonstrates what we're talking about with a building. So imagine this is a 5-story building, and we have 5 trades that have to make their way through the building. Well, let's say we're just talking about interior finishes. So we have the drywaller, followed by the painter, the ceiling guy, the flooring, and finally the casework comes through. If each of these trades has a week worth of work on each floor, that's kind of what's shown here. So the drywaller, you can see in this table down here, it shows their completion time. So the drywaller finishes the first floor after 5 days, second floor after 10 days, and he's finally done with the 5th floor after 25 days or 5 weeks worth of work. The painter is just one floor behind him. So the painter finishes 5 days after the drywaller, followed by the ceiling contractor, the flooring contractor, and then finally the casework contractor finishes at 45 days. I would call this a large batch approach, right? We're using the whole floor of a building as a batch. If we try to make those batches smaller, what we end up with is we divide that floor into pieces. So this diagram shows what would happen if we divided the floor into pieces. In this example, we've taken the same amount of work and we divided each floor into 5 pieces. So instead of the casework contractor working on an entire floor at a time, he's working on 1/5. So if this is an apartment building or a medical office building, it might be several rooms or several apartment units. So the drywaller is the first one through, just like he was last time. He still finishes in 25 days. But the difference now is that each trade is only 1 day behind the other instead of 1 week. So after the drywall finishes in 25 days, painter finishes the day after on day 26, ceiling finish on day 27, flooring finishes on day 28, and casework finishes on day 29. So the schedule went from 45 days to 29 days, something like a 35% savings. Obviously, that's huge savings. The question is, what does it cost to do this kind of a change? My experience has been, years ago I would have said this is appropriate for a project where there's lots of repetition, apartment building, hotel, medical office building. What I found over the years is that every time we try to do this on a project, even when we can't get the batches as small as my example, it always makes the project better, right? Having a conversation with the trades about how fast do we move, how do we define the areas, how do we get one trade out of the area before the other one comes in, it always results in a better plan, and it always moves faster. So think about it next time you're faced with a new project, whether it's something repetitive or something that's not repetitive, like the exterior skin of a building or a large site work project. Think about how you could divide it into small pieces. And I think what you'll find out is the effort of trying to design it that way with your team will result in a better project. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.